We back like we never left. It's another day. See, I had to go get, a little dapper. Now we had a what? We had a little luncheon, right?
Yep.
So, every now and then you got to show up and show out. So, we had to get dressed for the luncheon. They was a pretty cool luncheon. It was, what you call it? It was a fundraiser for a school. I'm not going to say what particular school, but it was a fundraiser for a school. It's a great event. This is our second time going. First time, the guest was LL Cool J. And this time we had, we had two, right? We not only had LL last year. I mean, we only had LL last year, but this year we had Julius Erving and Jackie Jonah Kersey, if I'm not mistaken, Olympian. So that was awesome. You know what I mean? One was kind of narrating the whole event, the whole moderator thing, if I'm not mistaken. And Julius Erving was the special guest that delivered his, influence to, generate some funds for a worthy cause. So that was awesome. So that's why, we stepped out a little bit today. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Corey Webster Experience, where you can find and learn about everything sports here on and off the field. I am your host, Corey Webster. I am C Webb. And today we're going to dive in. A lot of movement is happening in the NFL right now. Free agency is full underway. And we're going to talk about those movements as well as what's the biggest highlights from the NBA right now. There's a lot going on in the NBA. You got the Celtics, you got the Cavaliers, you have I think I said this before, you got the Lakers. The Lakers in the number 2 spot in the Western Conference right now. Look, don't look yet, but the Lakers are in the number 2 spot. You also have LeBron cooking, having, would you say, an MVP caliber season? Like he's in the MVP race, right? Chef Curry, right down the street. The Warriors looking real good since the move with Butler and everything like that went down. They're doing well. They're talking about maybe a chance. I think it's good to see that. I'll say that. It's good to see, because people say, and I'm not gonna do that to them. Those guys have every right. When I say those guys, Cleveland, those teams have every right. OKC, they have every right to change the narrative. Let that be motivation. I heard some people talking about, hey man, nobody want to see a OKC versus Cavaliers finals. People won't watch it. Hey, Cavs, OKC, use that as motivation. I don't know if, how much playoff experience you guys have. Use it for motivation to get your team through there. It doesn't matter if you haven't been there. Have a will, and when you have a will, there's a way. So change that narrative. The other thing we check up on too, man, I think NCAA, college sports right now, college basketball, women's, man, it's looking real good. My LSU Tigers in there in the SEC tournament right now is looking very, very good right now. So also, in the men's, and they have a lot of good girls looking, man. South Carolina looking real good. UConn looking real good. On the men's side of things, Duke looking good. Gonzaga coming on strong at the end. The SEC been having a lot of schools in the championship. So we're going to dive into all of that. But first we're going to knock out some football, NFL. So how you feeling?
Great.
Let's talk about some of these top free agent signings. What you got?
Linebacker Zach Bond. The Philadelphia Eagles re-signed him to a 3-year deal, $51 million.
I think that's good because a lot of people are talking about the linebacker position and they kind of devaluing it. But I think, time is the only thing that's going to tell with these headlines that's happening right now. But I think the Philadelphia Eagles, general manager, the whole ownership and everything like that, they're playing chess right now. Signing him, I think he's a guy that's a leader in that locker room. He's definitely a guy that's a leader on the defensive side of things. Had a great season last year, was very instrumental to their Super Bowl run. Also, they got Saquon Barkley done with another deal. I like that. They're not waiting. The guy had a great season. He had just signed a deal, but look, less. And I think a lot of that too is not only getting the deal done. I think it's shifting some money around too, shifting some language around in their contract so it can free some money up with the language that's being put in the contract, so they can have and be in a position to sign other players to come here and help them continue this window that they're on right now, as far as, you know, being in the Super Bowl a year or two ago, right? Losing it, but being back in the Super Bowl, winning it now. So I think what they're doing right now is expanding a window by making these moves earlier right now. So, you know, hats off to them for getting those things done and setting the bar and being a leader when it comes to that. Also, you see Deebo Samuels. He wanted out of San Francisco, and where he's headed right now.
To the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? What I don't like about it, you know, I'm a guy that's not a fan of just asking and wanting out. And, you know, I'm not saying that teams shouldn't release them or anything like that, make it hard. But, you know, I just don't know how I feel about that. You know, guys just, you know, fed up. And I don't know what they're going through. I don't know them personally. So I don't know what they're going through. I don't know the obstacles. I don't know how they're being treated at their respected team or organization. But, you know, these guys asking for trade, that just, I don't know if that sits well with me. Because this is a blessing, you know what I mean? And it's not just you. You know, it's a team. And this is an ultimate team sport. So, you know, this affects a lot of people, you know what I mean, family, but it also affects a lot of people on your team. So I don't know how I feel about that. So yes, he got his way. So how long before, you know, things don't go his way in Washington, he wants out of there, or, you know, it becomes just a negative thing. And I've never heard this, I'm speaking in general right now, I've never heard this about Deebo Samuel, that he was, you know, a negative person in the locker room or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, these guys asking for these trades, that's on, I don't know if it's just to win championships. I don't know if it's just to move. I don't know if it's just because they're not happy. I just, you know, like I would say, like what my homegirl said. And I don't want to say my homegirl. She's a, you know, very wise lady. She would say, it's just concerning to me. You know, I'm concerned, you know what I mean? I'm concerned when these guys ask for these trades. So ultimately, at the end of the day, Washington Commanders get another weapon. They already have, you know, a lot of weapons over there, so they get another weapon in Deebo Samuels. You know, only time will tell how that, you know, works, you know what I mean, as far as them gelling together, how they're going to use him as a rusher, how they're going to use him as a threat down the field and things of that nature. But, you know, anytime you can get another weapon, when you Jaden Daniels, I think you would welcome that with open arms.
Yes. Another notable trade, Jonah Jackson to the Bears. So the Bears traded their 6th-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams for offensive lineman Jonah Jackson.
I think Coach Ben Johnson is doing the right thing thus far, you know. He's addressing issues that they had last year. Some issues last year was we could not protect our quarterback. Our quarterback got sacked a lot, right? So if he's going to be the face of our franchise, if we're going to build with him, we need to protect him. So I think that's a good move for them, you know, getting somebody in that can, you know, build strength and continuity with that offensive line, and somebody just to be able to build from or build around going forward. I think that will help their quarterback, you know, build confidence in. You know, they can start developing the offense with them. So that's what you want to see for a head coach when he come in. I think he's an offensive-minded guy. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Fact check me. I think that head coach is an offensive-minded guy. So he comes in, what he do? Offensive lineman. So hats off to him for making those moves. You know, like I said, about all these things, only time will tell you if they work. You know what I'm saying? But seems like that's a good move in the right direction right now for the Bears.
Gotcha. And there were also some franchise tag updates.
Yeah.
T. Higgins, wide receiver. The Cincinnati Bengals placed him on a franchise tag, valuing $26.2 million.
Yeah. And don't take that for granted. That's a lot of money. 20, you know, would you say $26.2 million? That's a lot of money, you know, to make for a year. But, you know, playing the violent game that we play, guys want security and they want long-term deals. So all the guys that's up for potential franchise tags, you know, I'm praying that you get those deals done, fellas. I'm praying that, you know, everything goes like you want to, because not only does it provide security, it also allow those guys to go out there and play with, nothing being in the back of their mind, just, being able to go out there and play and just have peace when they're out there on the field doing the thing that they love to do. So I think, for starters, maybe the Bengals are a little behind on this because they have a few players that they have to sign. And to be totally honest, Joe Burrow has already stated that he wants those two playmakers back, right? And when I'm talking about two playmakers, I'm talking about Jamar Chase and he wants T. Higgins back. So he's willing to restructure his deal to get those guys back. So shout out to Joe Burrow, LSU. Anytime a guy stands up and hold his playmakers down, you always love that, right? It looks like he has those guys back. So hopefully those guys continue to work as they done sign this deal. They can continue to work on a long-term deal. And I think that'll help those guys be, safe, secure, so they could go out there and just, continue to make plays and dominate. With that being said, with that guy signing a franchise deal, we've also saw that a DK Metcalf wants out of Seattle right now. What's the word on that? Why?
He is definitely pursuing more money on the contract.
Indeed, you sign a contract for a reason. And I'm not saying that guys don't outplay their contract and things of that nature, because that can happen, right? You can come out there and outplay your contract, but I don't know if a team is going to be willing to sign him and then offer him a big deal, without going out there and playing and things of that nature. I think they're going to want to see how this whole ordeal lays out and how it, we might want to trade for you and we got to give up a certain amount of picks for you, but I don't know if we're going to just, especially a winning team, a team that's in position to, playoff run, Super Bowl of that age. Because in my mind, I think when a guy wants to be traded of his caliber, he's looking to win, right? We also saw that Myles Garrett want out of Cleveland. When I see Myles Garrett want out of Cleveland, I think it's because he's ready to be around winning. I don't know how that feels being in an organization that, you don't have a chance to compete, right? And when I say compete, I'm not just talking about on a day in and day out basis, every Sunday basis. I'm talking about compete for playoff contention, compete for a championship. So when I see a guy like Deebo Samuels and also DK Metcalf asking to be traded, I'm thinking those guys want to win Super Bowls. So it'd be interesting to see how and when and where DK Metcalf ends up. They got some additional moves too. That's worthy of talking about. Who's those guys that's moving around?
We have Joey Bosa. He was released by the Chargers, so that freed up some cap space, $25 million. Tyler Lockett. Seattle Seahawks released the veteran wide receiver. Also, Sam Darnold. The Minnesota Vikings chose not to use the franchise tag for him.
I think it'd be interesting to see because he's an unrestricted free agent. Sam Darnold had a good season last year with Minnesota. I think those playmakers, the Jet, Justin Jefferson, I think he would want Sam Darnold back. I think the offense would want him back, but it'll be interesting to see, where he falls at. I think maybe Minnesota just allowing him to see, what's his price, and then they come back and work out a deal. But it'd be interesting to see. I think they should keep Sam Darnold and get that deal done, and and see if they can make another run at it. I think they made a good playoff run last year. Fell a little short. A lot of people put a lot of the blame on Sam Darnold in that playoff loss, man. But you win together as a team. Like he had a great season all year long. You lose together as a team. So it'd be interesting to see if they bring him back and how they get him signed up going forward. And you got to talk about your favorite team. Does Jerry Jones has a plan?
Cap.
Hey, the talk is about Jerry Jones having a plan to get the Cowboys into the Super Bowl this year.
They say that for the last 30 years.
Yeah. I think, let me say a nice way of saying this. For the most part, I think Cowboys fans are diabolical. What it is? Delusional. They are delusional when it comes to. But I think he has a great plan of how to market and brand. I think he's a genius when it comes to marketing and branding. And because for how many years? 30 years, he have had this plan, and I've heard fans that stand on it. This is our year. Not only fans, I saw former players of the Cowboys stand on it and talk that trash for at least 28 of those 30 years. Just recently, I saw a few guys come out like, hey, man, I don't know what we're going to do now. Just recently, right? And that, I would say, is genius to be able to brand and market every year. Not only brand and market, the shares, the popularity, the value of the organization went up every year without winning. So, hey, if there's anything that you want to learn from Jerry Jones about branding and marketing and being able to do that, I think we should be studying that. But if we're talking about football on the field and being able to put a great team on the field that will play deep into the playoff and have a chance to compete at the Super Bowl, he ain't got that. So, shout out to all the Cowboys fans out there. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I just love it for you guys, man. Keep it going. Yeah, we got to talk about the combine a little bit too. As we did last episode or two ago, I don't remember. We talked about the combine and things that you can expect from the combine. And recently we saw that Shedeur Sanders are getting a little backlash from the combine. People talking about him in not so much of a positive light. Can you tell us about what the people are talking about when it comes to Shedeur and the combine, what's being put out from Indianapolis right now?
Yes. There's comments about him, his demeanor, saying he's brash and arrogant, and some people say they're raising concerns about his character.
What does brash mean? I'm sorry, I graduated from LSU. Yeah, you know what I mean? I need to know what brash means. I was recently told that I was cocky and arrogant. I never thought that before in my life, right? And I remember one time being told that I was cocky by a person that, that I know very well. You know what I mean? I'm like, I never thought that in my life that I was cocky. So I think that's a perception thing. I think everybody can have an opinion when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Some people may look at it as cocky, and then the next person may look at it just being confident. You know what I mean? So you got to take that with a grain of salt. What I don't like about this is if you go ahead and the source of the criticism, I don't like that the individuals that are talking about the criticism are not being named. Like, if you're going to talk about it, you got to stand on it. You know what I mean? You got to be, hey, man, I think Shedeur, I think whoever X-player is, I think that about him. I don't like that about journalism. You know what I mean? That's where me and journalism go a different way. I think it should be about facts, right? And I think, just a little bit, I gotta say this. I think some responsibility falls upon the person that reports it. Don't report it if you're not going to say their name. Don't report it came out this, I heard this, some quarterback coach said this. Go ahead, talk about the criticism, the source of the criticism. What you got? You told me something about the source of the criticism.
Yes, NFL insider Josina Anderson. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly.
I know you don't want me to take a shot at it, right?
Reported that quarterbacks coaches from a team picking in the top 7 describe him as brash, meaning rude, and arrogant during some of the interviews at the combine. Draft analyst Todd McShay noted that 2 teams felt Sanders displayed a lack of professionalism during interviews, interrupting and being like disinterested. So, okay.
Again, I've been a part of these, so I told you I had a guy that knew me well that attacked me in those rooms. So I can imagine the type of question that he's getting. You know, I'm sorry, this is a part of it. You know what I mean? And yes, we can say that, well, he knew he was going to get those questions. And, you know, his dad is who his dad is, his family is who his family is. He knew he was going to get those questions so he could take the high road. Hey, but everybody don't know, you know, that high road. Everybody don't know what that is. And, man, sometimes you just got to be who you are, you know what I mean? And I think it still work out for him. I don't think, it's a lot of owners that are brash. What you say? Give me that.
Brash and arrogant.
Brash and arrogant. It's a lot of owners that are brash and arrogant. I don't hear, you know, those people reporting on that. It's a lot of journalism or journalists that are
brash and arrogant.
You know what I mean? So what I don't like about this whole piece is, hey, you know how you had to do a paper? I remember having to do a paper when I was doing, I forgot what it was. It was a business class. It was marketing. Mm-hmm. And you had to make cites. You know, you had to cite your paper, where you got this from, where it came from. And even when you in journalism, you know what I mean? You have to, you know, who's my source? I don't want to hear what you got to say if you ain't willing to say that. You know what I mean? If I heard something and I thought it was worthy of reporting, I'm going to tell you, hey, Queen said that. Or I said it. I had a conversation with him. This is what I thought about that conversation. Because it's my perception. It's not wrong. I can feel that way. I'm
So
entitled to feel that way. I'm sorry.
You don't want anonymous.
No, I don't want no anonymous. That ain't cool. Hey, when I see this, that means nothing. And that's how everybody else should take it. You're just trying to put out a narrative. So for me, and I'm not trying to go into a whole new media or anything like that. For me, if you can't say this messy to me, you know what I mean? This messy, this is gossip, you know what I mean? And we don't like to talk about it. So a few people came out and I guess they wanted to stand up for him and stuff like that. I don't think he needs nobody to stand up for him. You know what I mean? Hey, young man, keep doing your thing. Remember to keep God first. I always see him, you know, talking about God and things of that nature, you know, and that's for every guy that's at the draft. Somebody might not like you. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit there and be what we talked about before, politically correct, right? Make sure that you're being respectful. Make sure you respect yourself and everything around you. And I think, and be honest and truthful. I think everything can happen in, you know, the way it's supposed to happen for you. You know what I mean? I don't think you're going to lose no draft stock because of it. You know, it only take one team. Got 32 of them, it only take one team. So, man, keep doing your thing. Keep working hard. Keep praying. And everything will fall into place, man. Moving on. NBA. Let's go. What you got in this NBA? NBA going crazy right now. Don't look. I told you before. Don't look. The Lakers, everybody was talking about the Lakers may move up to like 4 or 5 place, right? 4, 5, 6 place. Don't look. The Lakers are in second place in the Western Conference right now. And now you have talks about them and the Warriors. Notable team that has potentials of being in the Western Conference Final and the finals. You can, you know, people start thinking about, you know, they got a lot of Boston fans out there. Shout out Landlord Lee. Mm-hmm. You know, go back to the Bob Cousy days. Mm-hmm. Shout out Landlord Lee, right? Now people talking, hey, Boston, Lakers, you know, those historic franchise, right? The Warriors, you know, looking good right now. But I just want to say, man, we got to give LeBron his flowers right now, man. Forget the age, man. He's just getting better. He's aging like, you know what they say, fine wine, like a nice watch. You know what I mean? Like the right watch. He's aging, you know, gracefully, man. He's getting better. So for people out there that's looking, yes, if you make a commitment, if you be disciplined, if you be consistent with your discipline, you too can play beyond. You know what I mean? We always say for the time. But guess what? God is real. You know, we read those books in the Bible, not for nothing. And we see some of these people live, 186 years old, you know what I mean? 140 some years old. So, you know, a guy playing basketball, 40, that's nothing. So shout out to him. Keep going. It's going to be real fun to see that we have players like LeBron, Steph Curry, the same, you know, that's going to maybe have the potential to go deep in the playoff this year. So that's awesome right there. You know what I mean? You know, I'm going to be tuning in. Some of the biggest highlights from the NBA right now. Celtics, Cavs, SGA, Harden. Talk about it. What the Celtics have done, man. Because the Celtics been without a few man pieces, but look like, they're using this as an opportunity to find depth, to be, adaptable with the time that they're having. Talk about those Celtics right now. Landlord Lee smiling right now. Talk about those Celtics.
Yes, they're definitely looking resilient right now. Pritchard has been performing very well. Him and White, I want to say they combined for, I think, 86 points.
Yeah, they both had, if I'm not mistaken, they both had career highs.
Yes.
I think Pritchard shot, he had maybe 43 points. White had 41 points. Yeah. I think they broke a record. If I'm not mistaken, the record, they made 19 three-pointers. I think that's a NBA season, or I forgot. I don't want to lie. You got to tell me. You the fact checker. But no, they did their thing. You know what I mean?
The first time in the franchise history that two Celtics teammates has scored over 40 points in the same game.
That's wild. Just think about, we just talked about how historic that franchise is. Think about all the Larry Birds, the Robert Parrish, we talked about Bob Cousy just a second. The Paul, the Big Ticket. You know what I mean? The Truth. Ray Allen. Can't leave out Rondo either, man. Rondo was even Walker, Antoine Walker, and they got so on, we go on and on, but think about, and not for nothing, it's not their 2-3 stars of time right now.
Correct.
These guys would be considered role players. So I think the bigger lesson here is for the role player, right? Because in how we prepare, everybody's a starter. Everybody's a starter. That's how you prepare, because you never know when your number's going to be called. So Jason Tatum, I think, was out with a shoulder. I think Porzingis was out with his issue. I think Drew Holiday, I think he broke his finger. So you have a couple of guys that's missing, and then you have these guys to be able to step up. So what that does is that build confidence in those individuals, from their teammates, from their peers, to say, hey, man, we know you can get it done at any given time. We know that you're going to be a big piece and instrumental to our run later on. So now we just hoping that we can get healthy and continue to build off this momentum going forward. So I think that's the biggest thing right there. If you're a kid, if you're a young player, if you're a role player out there that's saying, man, how do I find, be ready. Be ready. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Be ready. When your number get called and your opportunity presents itself, this is how you show up. So shout out to those two guys right there, man. Look, everybody's a starter. Ain't no role players, Everybody's playing a role. From the equipment manager to the trainers to the staff, the ward, everybody's playing a role. But be ready. Be ready when your number is called. So, and that's what I take from that, man. Another team that's balling right now, the team that got the best record in the NBA right now, they're also the first team to notch in their name in the playoffs. Talk to them, man. Let us know.
Yes, their recent 12-game winning streak, they beat the Heat 112 over 107, and that secured their playoff spot.
Yeah, so they locked in. It was the first team to lock in this year. So, yeah, man, they got players they have some depth going on over there, man, with Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. I like Jared Allen, man. He wears the fro. I'm trying to build a confidence to wear my hair in that fro all the time like he does. Maybe one day, right? Maybe one day I can come out here and show. Don't forget about Hunter. He averaged about 15 a game right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they clash with Boston. They recently beat Boston. Boston could say they wasn't at full strength, but Boston played a real hell of a game with them. You know what I mean? So right now they're looking like those two teams will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. But until somebody beat Boston, you got to go and take it. You know what I mean? The Cavs, they're going to be in uncharted water with this team. LeBron ain't coming in. Kyrie Irving ain't coming in. With this team right here, they're going to be in uncharted water. The Celtics been here last year, and you got to show me that you got to take it from them. And that's got to be the mindset for those guys. You know what I mean? Hey, we beat you. Look, whoever you put out there on the court, we got to go out there and dominate those individuals. We got to play against those individuals. So continue to get better right now. Continue to work on some things that you can get better at. If I'm the Cleveland Cavaliers right now, and when you do show up, right, make sure we show up ready to play. Make sure we show up ready to take it away from them, because nothing is going to be given to us. So shout out, man. That could be a very, but look, it should be motivation to you that the big media is saying people, the fans, do not want to see a finals with OKC, a smaller market team, Cavs in it. You change that perspective. You get to, have your finger on it. Go change it. I don't care what you want to see. This is what you're going to see. You know what I mean? So go get it. What do you think? What was the best man you saw with the MVP, who's the leading candidate for MVP right now? You see what he been doing? What his name is? Shea Gilgeous Alexander, SGA. Are you watching him? You see the season he's having? Talk about his notable achievements this season. You see what he's doing?
Yes.
Look like he mad that y'all didn't give him the MVP last. No, I don't want to say gave. That's the wrong word. That he didn't earn it last year. He's trying to show y'all, look, you missed out.
Yes, they are leading the Western Conference, and SGA averages 32 points per game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Yes.
Yeah. And he's doing that, shooting field goal percentage 52. 3-point percentage 37. Free throws a notch below 90. You know that? True shooting percentage 64%. He's a walking bucket. And I think he get like 1 steal a game, maybe 1 rebound a game, 1 block a game, something like 5 rebounds a game. I'm sorry. 1 steal, 1 block a game. Man, he ain't playing. You saw I think he went on the run where he had 40 points, 50 points. What you saw that? Talk to us about that. His run he went on.
Yes. He leads the NBA with 10 40-point games this season. In a recent performance on March 5th, the victory over the Grizzlies, he scored 41 points on 14 of 25, shooting along with 8 assists.
So, yeah, this king right here leads the NBA with 10 40-point games. He recorded 4 50-point games in the last 40 days, including a 51-point performance against the Houston Rockets. And that was on March 3rd, the day after my birthday. He was showing out for the Pisces that was all around the world. Pisces season it is. He was showing out. Yeah, I don't know. With just that alone, that may solidify his MVP, campaign right there. So SGA, head down. And I like how they're doing it, man. It's a young group. They're together. They just got their, I don't know what you want to call him. He's almost like a unicorn, but I know they got a couple of them now. They got Victor. They also have Boa, but they got Chet Holmgren. They just got him back, a couple of weeks ago. So it'll be interesting to see how he gelled back with the team, because he can play at the rim. He's a shot blocker. He's a rim protector. He can stretch the court. He's a 3-point shooter. He can get active. So, man, they got a lot of depth over there. I know the West has a lot of depth going on over there as well, but it'd be interesting to see, man, if they can seal the deal. Again, they should be motivated because they feel slighted. They feel disrespected. They feel like they didn't get, SGA alone feel like he didn't get the recognition that he deserved last year, what he did. So now they are motivated this year. So, hey, I like the young boys, Let them young Canes go out there and run. Let them eat. It'll be interesting to see. LeBron, Denver, Golden State, they going to try to have something to say about it. But them young boys, They leading the way right now on both sides, Western Conference and Eastern Conference. So let's continue to go, man, with everybody else that's doing well, man. We have to talk about this next little highlight too as well, man. James Harden going crazy right now. You know, he done lost PJ, what his name is, I'm sorry, Paul George, PG-13, been missing a lot of games. That's a conversation for another day with him too. What I mean by that is because he stepped away from the podcast. You asked me that the other day. Maybe it was a little longer than the other day, but you asked me about some of these NFL guys that started doing podcasts, and you know, how do you feel about them doing the podcast throughout the season and things of that nature? And that's for another day. So he recently said that he's going to step away from the podcast so he could focus strictly on basketball. But as a recent, him and Kawhi has been missing all the time, and James Harden looked like he done went back to the old James Harden. James Harden trying to tell us something. What James Harden looking like right now? Turning to vintage James Harden.
All right, he's averaging 22 points a game, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds per game.
He had a 50-baller tonight, too.
Yes. Leading the Clippers to a 123-115 victory over the Pistons.
Clippers need some help, man. They right there at 500, or a game or two above 500, man. It's not looking good. Man, when you put that together, because they, new arena this year? Notable stars that they have, but it just not seem like they're working out. But, hey, shout out to James Harden to be able to keep the fans interested in what they have going on and to come out there and perform like he's been performing. So that's awesome. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna hold you. So that's our show for today. Like we always say, subscribe, hit the notification bell, lock in. Don't forget to get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts, anything that we missed. Who is your team? Who do you think gonna take it this year? Will it be the Western Conference? Will it be the Eastern Conference? Or are you gonna be real particular with it? Will it be OKC, Cleveland in the finals? Will we get a historic finals? See somebody like Boston Celtics and the Lakers in the finals? Or can, somebody surprise us? Who knows? Anyway, chiming in the comments. Y'all could talk about it there. And we look forward to seeing you guys another day. Y'all be great.